My name is Emily Ritter. I'm a graduate assistant in the Student Life Office, and today I'm just going to talk a little bit about some tips for starting RSOs and for new RSOs. And this presentation is called A Whole New World. So just to start off, people that are looking to start an RSO, there's a lot of things that you need to know, and kind of the big one is, well, where do I go for help? One of the biggest resources that you'll find is the Student Life Office. And that's because if you go straight to the Student Life Office website, which the computer will do at warp speed, or it won't. Oh, there we go. Okay. Here on the Student Life website, if you go down to the side panel and you see Registered Student Organizations, you can click on that, and it takes you basically to the RSO page. And that's where you're going to find everything from RSOs that are already there, and then information if you want to start an RSO. So some of the important things that are on there are the different listings, different organizations that you may find that are similar to ones that you're interested in or ones that you've started. Also, the registration process is on there. Information for starting a new RSO, which includes the registration booklet, which I brought with me tonight, and a constitution template. There's also our leadership newsletters, which is part of the iLead series as well, which is a twice a semester, 3 times a semester newsletter, which will give you information about different things that may be beneficial to your organization, and then also some resources for your advisor. So some important things that are on the website, like I said, include the application process. There's some things that you definitely need to know in order to maintain your status as an RSO. You need to fill out the basic organization information booklet, which includes your advisor's information, the executive board or the leadership information, and you have to have at least 10 members for your RSO. Let's go back to the PowerPoint. And so basically, that kind of gives you all the information that you'll need to know to get your RSO off the ground. So once you've completed that step, congrats, you're an RSO. Now what? For that, it's really important that you want to establish your goals. When you're just starting out, it's important that you establish your goals for this semester, the year, and then beyond that. And so making sure that those are SMART goals as well, which for those of you that don't know, SMART is, and I should have written it down. They are specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. So you want to make sure that they work for your organization, that they follow your mission and your goals and objectives of the organization, and it's something that you can actually accomplish. So making sure that there's something that you can actually accomplish for the semester, for the year, and then for the future. And then you also want to make sure that you review and update your information at least once a year. If you go to the website, you want to make sure that you're keeping your information up to date as far as who your advisor is and who your president is. That way, when information comes out that goes directly to RSOs, that includes information about upcoming fairs or any pertinent information, that it goes to the right people. Otherwise, if your advisor leaves or if your president graduates, that information is just kind of going nowhere. So making sure that that is updated once a year. So some successful steps to getting your RSO off the ground and running is basically promotion, networking, fundraising, and navigating your way around the university. And starting with promotion, why promote? Well, you need to get the word out. People need to know about your RSO. If it's brand new, people don't know about it, so you need to let them know who you are. And by letting them know who you are, you also find out who may want to join your organization and who can help. So if your organization, if you go through the RSO list and there's someone on there that may be someone that would be of interest to your organization, contacting their president, letting them know about it. Because after all, what's the purpose of having a group if no one knows you exist? In addition to promoting, you can do posters and things like that. Letting people know when your meetings are, where your meetings are, what your mission is. And then I brought some information about posting at Eastern. And so when you post at Eastern, there's a lot of different rules that have to kind of be followed. And for that, you'll have to go through the union here. If you go to the scheduling office, generally if you're having an event, they'll want you to fill out a room space. And that gives you information as far as renting out a room, making sure that you have that space, that no one else can use it. You'll have to have your advisor sign off on it. But unless you have a space reserved for an event, they will not stamp your posters, which means they can't be put up on campus, which means that all of the hard work and printing will actually be taken down by someone at the university. So making sure that you fill out those room request forms. If you have any questions, you can certainly go into the office. It's on the second floor, right in between kind of the bridge lounge and the bank area, and just talk to them about wanting to schedule a room. They'll kind of ask you how many people you're looking for, get an idea of what spaces are available, and they'll do that for anywhere on campus, not just here in the union. So, but once that's all taken care of and you have your room reserved, then they will actually, if a poster comes in and you need it stamped, they'll just look up and make sure all your information is correct. Things that shouldn't go on posters are words like raffle. If you were raffling something off, the university doesn't allow you to do that, so it's generally called a giveaway. And they also want to make sure that information is on there as far as if there's an entrance fee to something, that's on there. If you are charging an entrance fee, they will charge you for the room, and that information is on the room request form as well. So after you have gotten out and you've promoted your event a little bit, you want to also network. Who is already on this campus that you can meet up with, get together with, and establish connections? And so one of those is, like I said, to go through the RSO listserv, see who on there has some like interests that you could possibly contact. If your organization has anything to do with a major or a minor on campus, something that would be of interest, contacting those professors, contacting those advisors, and letting them know about your organization. And then I put SOC on there, which SOC is the Student Organization Cabinet, and that is headed by the Vice President for Student Affairs for Student Government, and that's Casey Abel. And I just put her information on there because the meeting times have changed again this semester, and I'm not sure exactly when they are. Also, they put on a Pantherpalooza twice a year, once in the fall semester and once in the spring semester, and that's a great place to rent out a table, get some information out, and then greet all the students when they come in. There's usually over 100 organizations and several hundred students that come in through that you can give information to about your organization. It's usually important for groups to fundraise because that's the way that they're going to be able to fund their activities. And so when you fundraise, it's important to look at the goals that you've established and also establish financial goals with that. If you're looking to raise $1,000, that may not be something that's feasible for that first semester. So making sure that your financial goals are something that are attainable. Making sure that you're brainstorming with your group, kind of getting ideas generated. And you want to make sure that you're finding or creating fundraisers that make sense for your group. If you are doing something that is, if you're like a green organization, you want to make sure that it makes sense for your group, that you're doing something that people will associate with your group just so that it makes a little bit more sense. And if you're unsure, ask questions. You want to make sure that you're talking to your advisor and asking if this is something that you can do feasibly when it comes to selling things or asking people for money. Just checking with your advisor to make sure that it falls into what's allowed by the university. And if you're unsure, you can always ask the Student Life office or the scheduling office if you have any questions. No, there we go. Okay, and so the last one is just the navigating through EIU, and that's kind of the information that I already gave you. Making sure that you're scheduling rooms and meeting space. These rooms up here are generally available throughout the week for different meeting times and meeting space. And then also if you need larger rooms, that's available as well. And all the information usually gets posted outside of the door. So once your information is put in and they've given you a confirmation for your room, people will know kind of where to find you too, because they can double check on the printed information outside the doors and then at the end of the hall as well. Advertising, that posting form, knowing where you can post is really important. They don't like it when you post in some of the academic areas. There's certain billboards and bulletin boards that you can post at, so you want to make sure you adhere to that. There's also Copy Express, which I heard they were calling themselves Panther Printing now, so just use both of those names on there. You can actually apply for a Copy Express card, and that's something that you would have to fill out with your advisor, but that allows you to set up a university account. And you can use that card to go in and use that to purchase anything that you would need for printing, and then it would get taken out of your university account that you would set up through your RSO. And then making sure that you're utilizing your advisor, again, the Student Life Office, et cetera, just to answer any questions that you have along the way. So any questions?
I don't know if you'll know the answer
Mm-hmm.
to this question, but if I wanted to rent out like a space in the quad,
Mm-hmm.
is that possible?
Yep, that's a great question. You just go to the scheduling office and you tell them what you need. Are you looking for like a large area of the quad, a small area of the quad, a table?
Probably a large area.
Okay. They'll kind of talk you through the process. They'll ask you what it is that you need it for. When you're doing something outside, they may have you fill out what's called an unusual event form. And they should have that form as well down there. If not, it's something that you can call the Student Life Office and we can get that to you. But it's just an extra form that says, hey, this is a larger venue that we need than just a table outside. But they would be able to determine whether or not you need one of those. Mm-hmm. This is the informational booklet that's online. So you can kind of take that as a resource if you need it.
I don't have another question.
That's okay. Well, that's kind of my presentation. It's pretty short. Thought it'd be more question based, but you had a good one. So, but I did put this in here. I don't know what the speakers are on. Oh, and it didn't work. It's actually going to play the Whole New World song. Oh, no.
And as far as like resources for your organization, if you need anything else, that they do have more IRE series which are coming up that are going to be more about like dynamics within your organization, or how to get those newer members motivated, how to get leaders to kind of take charge, those sorts of things. So we're looking for kind of some other assets to your organization.
Do you want all this stuff back?
You can actually take that with you. I have more too if you want it. It's really slow. But yeah, if you ever have any questions, the union scheduling office is a great source when it comes to needing a space to meet or figuring out what needs to be posted or what can be posted. And then, other questions as far as general RSO questions, the Student Life Office is always available as well. Thanks for coming.
I have more questions.
No, that's okay. That's okay. And like Alex was saying, there's definitely a lot of different things that will be coming up through this semester and next year that will kind of focus on specific things that will help to build different groups.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.